Hello and welcome to today's presentation. My name is Brian Rowerdink. I work with Lucid Consulting. For 8 years, I worked as the controller of a security systems integrator. And during that time, we implemented the product I'm going to be showing you today. I'm super excited to share with you some of the solutions we found to the biggest challenges facing your field service business today. Now at Security Solutions, where I worked, one of our big challenges was finding highly skilled labor. And during that time, we tried different methods of hiring and recruiting. And at one point, we realized one thing we could do is try to maximize the capacity of the technicians that we already had. And to do that, we tried to eliminate something that we called go-backs. More commonly, it's referred to your first-time fix rate. So essentially, we tried to find a way to make it to where when a tech went out to a site, they were able to solve the problem the first time so that they didn't have to go back and deal with it again. And by doing that, we were able to get more capacity out of the same amount of technicians, which helped alleviate some of our hiring challenges by better utilizing the people we had. Now, a little bit later on in this presentation, I'm going to show you how Lucid Consulting and Acumatica help security solutions improve their first-time fix rate and what it did for their business. So to begin, I want to look at the agenda for today. So we're going to start by talking about what first-time fix rate is, going a little bit into why it matters, what the causes are, what the solutions can be. We're going to talk about how Acumatica, a cloud-based ERP system we'll be demoing today, can help with those challenges. We're then going to review a demonstration of Acumatica, and then we're going to learn a little bit about Lucid Consulting, who we are, what we do, and how we help people get the most out of Acumatica and their business. Finally, we'll wrap up with some contact information if people want to learn more. So again, today's presentation is all about first-time fix rate. Go ahead and grab your lunch and let's jump right into it. So the first question you might be asking yourself is, what is first-time fix rate? Well, first-time fix rate is the percentage of time a customer's resolution happens on your first trip to their site. For example, if you had a service ticket come in, that was your first service ticket, you sent a technician out and they solved the problem the first time, you would have one solution for one trip. Now a second service ticket comes in and the technician went out and for whatever reason, they were not able to solve the problem. They had to come back to the office, maybe they didn't have a part, different things were lacking, maybe they didn't have the skills, they had to go back out. For that trip, you had one resolution, but it took 2 trips. So now you have 3 trips to client sites with only 2 resolutions. So 2 divided by 3 is 66%. That is the first time fix rate. It is essentially giving you a metric to track how often your business is able to go out and resolve that customer's problem the first time. The field service industry as a whole averages about 75 to 80% first time fix rate. That's a pretty good range to be in. And depending on the industry, specific field service industry you're in, some can be as low as 63%, while others can be as high as 88%. Since every business is different, every market they sell into is different, every service they provide is different, don't focus so much on getting yourself to a number as much as learning where you're at today and figuring out how to have incremental improvement. So let's start, now that we understand what first time fix rate is, let's start talking about what it can do for your business. So here we're going to see some key data we were able to find. Some studies have found that businesses whose first-time fix rate is 70% or lower show a 10% decrease in customer retention, while businesses that are above 70% first-time fix rate have a 4% increase in annual revenues. Let's think about why that is. I mean, first off, customers are costly to acquire. And so in many companies, the service division can be that customer retention department. They're the ones that keep that ongoing relationship with the client going, keep the customer happy. And you'll find that a satisfied customer is more likely to spend more on your business and do more business with you in the future. Let's dig a little deeper into why a poor first-time fix rate has such an impact on customer retention and revenue. So why does it matter, right? So first off, customer satisfaction. Customers want their issues resolved and they want them resolved quickly. You know, a lot of times we think of, maybe if we're late to a client site, that's disrespectful. But if you think about it, almost better to be late than to show up and not be able to fix it. I mean, that delays it even more. So customers are more satisfied when you come out to their site and you're able to correct it the first time. Second, employee morale. I know as a consultant, even though I'm not always driving out to a customer site, it feels good to solve someone's problem. When you have to look at that client and say, I'm gonna have to get back to you, I haven't figured it out yet, that can wear you down. And it feels good to get those wins with your clients. And so from an employee perspective, sending your technicians out with all the things they need to be successful, the parts, the tools, the skills, it's going to improve their morale. And lastly, it can save you a lot of money. Truck rolls are costly. Estimates can be anywhere from $200 to $600, depending on what field you're in. And that can do with the labor you're paying that technician, the cost of fuel in your area, the type of vehicle they're driving, maybe the insurance, and that's not even counting opportunity cost. Labor is extremely hard to find right now. And again, the more capacity you can get out of your technicians, the better. So as we discussed previously, satisfied customers are more likely to do repeated business. Improved employee morale is more likely to increase productivity, and I don't need to explain to you the value of saving money. So now that we've seen how important first-time fix rate is, let's understand what the causes are so we can begin to find solutions to the challenges that face your business today. So here are some of the causes of a low first-time fix rate. First off, we're going to talk about people and parts, right? So one big issue is, you send someone out to resolve an issue and they just don't have the part to replace on their truck. Maybe it's a battery, maybe they're replacing the whole unit. They get out there and they discover, yeah, I got to come back to the office and get the part, right? Or maybe you send the wrong person out to the job. Maybe they don't have the skills or the know-how yet to solve the problem. Even more, maybe you're in an industry that requires certain licensing to be able to do the job, and you've sent someone out there that can't get it done. Or maybe there are jobs that require certain skills. Maybe a lift is required, maybe a ladder, maybe a special handheld tool. So they're out there, they have the skills, they have the parts, but they're lacking the tool. They have to look the customer in the face and say, sorry, I'm gonna have to come back. These are all things that can cause a low first-time fix rate. Next is communication. There can be a lot of miscommunication between dispatch and technician. Maybe the asset has moved out on the site. Maybe the customer canceled. Maybe the person you're supposed to contact on the site is canceled. So maybe your technician's out there wandering around a large campus looking for someone. Who am I supposed to be talking to today? So miscommunication can cause delays. And lastly, disruptive scheduling. If your dispatcher doesn't have the tools to successfully know how long something should take on average to fix something, they might not give you enough time to deal with it. So even if you might have all the skills, all that stuff, if you don't have enough time to fix the problem, you might have to leave for your next job and tell the client, sorry, I have to leave, I'm gonna have to come back. So these are all causes of a low first-time fix rate. Now that we know what the causes are, let's talk about how we can face these challenges head on. So here are some of the solutions for improving your first-time fix rate. First off, dispatch capability, right? So you want to give your service dispatcher the right tools to know that they're sending the right person out to the job that has the right skills and has the right licenses. You want to let your dispatcher know, I've got to let my technician know that they've got to bring X tool today. They've got to be notified. That information has to be there before they leave in the morning. Or maybe they're not scheduling the correct amount of time, right? So you have to give your dispatcher those tools to have a rough estimate of how long things take to fix so that they're able to schedule efficiently. You want to give them access to customer history. You want to give them access to where their technicians are at any time for more efficient scheduling, GPS tracking, all those tools that will allow your dispatcher to be better at informing the technician of what's needed and giving them the allotted time to get the job done. Next up is inventory. We talked a little bit about, the technician shows up and they don't have the part on their truck. Well, your dispatcher needs to see that. Your system needs to have visibility into truck inventory. You need to be able to order parts quickly, whether in the office or on the road, so you make sure that that part is ready by the time that appointment is. And in the event that you are placing an order, you need to make sure that you're aware that that part is in before your technician goes out that day, or you might have to cancel that appointment. You might have to go out and not have the part. There can be a lot of miscommunication there on the inventory side. And lastly, communication between tech and dispatch. In a lot of industries, people are still using paper work orders, and that information is static. You need something that is mobile, real time, that provides notification if the appointment is canceled, if the contact changes, if the asset is moved, if there's more information. You need something that has that real time back and forth communication. So these are all items that can help you improve your first-time fix rate if you can get these things improved in your business. So now that we know the things that will help you improve your first-time fix rate, we need to find a tool that can help you achieve all that. And that's where Acumatica is going to come in. So we're going to talk a little bit about Acumatica. Acumatica is a cloud-based ERP system. And let's talk about what makes Acumatica unique from other ERP offerings. First off, Acumatica is a browser-based ERP that was built for the web from the ground up. And it also has a role-based business management system that's simple to use and easy to secure. Acumatica understands that your data belongs to you and makes it available to you anywhere on any device as long as you have an internet connection. It can be a tablet, it can be a phone, it can be a PC, but all your data is at your fingertips at all times. Next, Acumatica is easily configurable. There's a lot of ways in the system that you can enhance or custom configure it for your business without the need for developers. And in the event that you do need customizations for your unique business challenges or issues, that architecture is set up so that it's low cost. So it's easy to customize at a low cost, and it's effective, it'll scale well. Acumatica does great with customizations. And then lastly, Acumatica supports multiple company, multiple branch, and multiple currencies. So if your business is a little bit more unique or has those extra challenges, Acumatica right out of the box can meet those. One thing I want to point out about today's presentation you're about to see is that everything you're going to see in the demo today is out of the box functionality. There is no third party, there's no development or customizations. It's just out of the box when you purchase Acumatica. So in today's demonstration, we're going to show and illustrate how Acumatica helps you improve your inventory visibility, improves your ability to schedule from a dispatch perspective, and provides that real-time communication between the back office and the technician out in the field. All things that will help you improve your first-time fix rate, help your customers be more satisfied, help your technicians and your employees have better morale and be more positive and productive in their job, and save you money, which are all critical components of your business. Before we begin and actually show Acumatica, I just want to do a high-level view of the service module inside of Acumatica so you know what you're looking at. Acumatica kind of has 3 or 4 different types of service that can be substantiated by the customer. So first off, you have your ad hoc service, right? Let's say that you are in the security industry and your customer has a dead battery and they call in and my panel's beeping, I need someone out here to fix this. That's just your quick one-off ad hoc kind of service. And Acumatica has the ability to support that. It also has the ability to support sales quotes and project quotes. So if you've got a client who maybe their sales system is degraded and going to go out and you need to go and upgrade their sales system so that in the future they'll continue to have service, you can send them out a quote and let them know, hey, here's a quote for us to upgrade your technology so it can stay relevant and current. And lastly, Acumatica has a robust service contract and customer contract module. So if your business is, say, SaaS, or you've got recurring monthly revenue, you need to bill your client for repeated work, you can do that as well. Maybe your client is on a schedule where they pay X amount of dollars per month, all that's available. And then also, if you've got recurring work orders like an annual inspections or fire alarm, confidence testing, backflows, Acumatica allows you to set all that up so that you can keep your information all in one system, keep your customer notified of all the services needed. And Acumatica works on a service order and appointment basis. So when a service ticket comes in, service order is created. That service order can have one-to-many appointments. And on those appointments, you're going to be scheduling your labor, your technicians, the type of services you're doing, and the equipment or inventory that's going to be on that. And it allows you to invoice that. So this is the basic flow of the service module inside of Acumatica. So now we're going to get into the demonstration. Give me 1 second to switch on over to Acumatica. Okay, let's go ahead and begin today's demonstration. As I mentioned previously, Acumatica is a cloud-based ERP system built from the ground up for the web. You're going to see on the left side of your screen a web browser and on the right side my mobile application. Today's demonstration is going to be taking the perspective of both a service dispatcher and a technician out in the field. We're going to begin by showing the features that Acumatica has to provide that critical visibility for a service dispatcher to make sure that they get the right technician with the right parts and the right tools out to the job the first time so they can fix it the first time. And also, we'll show the experience of the technician and their ability to collaborate in real time and get the information they need to make sure they're able to be successful in completing the job. So let's go ahead and log in. And I'm going to be logging in as a fictitious user here, Michael Andrews. So as we log in, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show the perspective of a service order coming in and the tools that dispatcher has to deal with it. So let's go ahead and navigate to the service order screen, and you can see that I can easily search the context menu I'm looking for. So we're going to create a new service order. One of the things I mentioned previously that can be a challenge when you attempt to fix something right the first time is making sure that that technician out in the field has the tools that they need to do the job right. And a lot of times those tools are fairly basic, but every once in a while there's a special requirement or something that might get missed and can cause a second trip. So you're going to notice as I enter in the customer, the USA Bartending School, there's going to be a pop-up note. Bring tall ladder to site. And pop-up notes can be easily configured on customer levels to make sure that critical information gets in front of the people that need to see it every time that customer is referenced on one of these orders, so that this ladder doesn't get forgotten and the technician doesn't go out to the site without the ability to complete the job. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Now, one of the first things the service dispatcher is going to want to do is they're going to want to go to the details tab of the service order and make sure that they input that instruction for the technician. And they can just type that in. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Later on, when we get to the mobile portion of this demonstration, you're going to see how the technician is able to utilize that information from the mobile app and see it in an easily to consume fashion. So next up, we want to talk about scheduling this service. And this particular customer has a access control issue. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add an access control service to this service order. And one of the things that you're going to see here is that you're able to assign inside of Acumatica estimated durations on services. Obviously, no two services is the same, but a lot of companies provide many different types of service, and this allows you to configure in the system those estimations to help you better schedule and make sure you put the correct amount of time on the calendar for that technician to finish the job the first time. And because one thing is, if a technician is rushed, they might not fix it right the first time. They might think they did, or they might be late to their next appointment. So this is a critical piece in making sure things get fixed right the first time. And you're going to see that if there were multiple services added to this service order, they would accumulate so that when you go to schedule it, you'll see all those on the calendar. So another critical thing that adds value and can help a service dispatcher become better at their job is having the information on the history of this customer. So in Acumatica, you can easily access the customer level information. I'm going to drill into the customer, and inside of the context menu here, you're going to see that I can go right to service order appointment history and see prior work that has been done at this customer's site. And I can change the date range. I can push this back a year, 2 years, whatever I need, and I can see all the different types of service orders that have been done at this customer's site and take a quick peek. Maybe this is an issue that has been ongoing from several months ago. So having that information at the time of schedule is critical in making sure that you allot the correct amount of time to get the job done correctly. Next, I want to talk about how do I make sure that I get the right person on the job. There's multiple ways to schedule a service order, but you want to make sure that not just that you get it scheduled, but that the person you're sending out there has the requisite skills or licenses to get the job done. So there's a couple different ways you can achieve that. First off, we can add staff right here, default staff to this service order. And you're going to notice when I hit the add staff button, we're going to get this little context menu. And you're going to see that it knows that this particular skill, this particular service that is on here, requires someone that can do access control and has this limited energy license. And there could be multiple services on this appointment with multiple selected boxes that would be drilling down and showing you which technicians you have that can get the job done. Now, in this environment, Michael Andrews is the only one that can get the job done. We're not going to schedule from here, but I just want to show you that Acumatica allows you to check those critical licenses and skills at the point of scheduling to make it easier to ensure that you get the right person out to the job site. Because if you send the wrong person out to the job site and they can't do the work, obviously that's going to require a second trip because you're going to have to send the correct person. And we can drill in a little bit here and show you how that works. So let's go to employees. And it's easy to configure these skills and licenses on these employees. So let's drill into Michael Andrews. And let's go to skills. So on the skills tab, you can see that we've assigned the access control skill to Michael. And then on the license tab, we can see that we actually have a license here that And you can actually use Acumatica to track issue dates and expiration dates of these critical licenses. You can use it to set up reminders, notifications to make sure that these licenses are kept up to date. That can be a big challenge for companies is helping keep track of that information. So we can see here that all the information we need, the license number, who it's assigned to, can be stored right inside of Acumatica. Another critical piece from the perspective of a service dispatcher is making sure that they understand, does the technician that's going to go out and do the job, do they have the skills, do they have the licenses, do they know the correct tools, but also do they have the parts on their truck that might be required for this job. So let's go back to the service order. So for this particular job, we find out that potentially the proximity reader is the issue. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add that part. We're going to add that part here. And once we add the part, we'll go ahead and hit save. Now we can drill into this part and we can take a look at which technicians actually have this on their truck. So we're going to go to the warehouses and we're going to see right here that Michael Andrews does have 2 of these on his truck. Maxwell Baker does not have any on their truck. And we also currently have 1 inside of our warehouse location inside of the office. So a couple things to note here. One of the ways Acumatica can ensure and make sure that critical parts are in your company is through replenishment. So you can set up replenishment on these items using mins and maxes. In this particular case, we're going to drill in. You're going to see here that Michael Andrews has, actually, let's go to Maxwell Baker. That's the one we want to look at today. So Maxwell Baker is set up here that if his truck ever gets to 0, we need to make sure that it's replenished. And what we're going to do is we're going to transfer from that other warehouse. So coming back over to Acumatica in the Prepare Replenishment screen, you can see that as it loads here, we can replenish and automate different warehouses here. So let's start with the service warehouse. And we can see here that the service warehouse has 1 of these. We've told it that we'd like to keep at least 10, so it's going to try to order back up to 10 here. And also, we see that Maxwell Baker's truck no longer has the part needed, and so there's going to be a request we can run here that will transfer that, make sure that that part gets transferred from the warehouse to Maxwell Baker's truck. So in the future, we have more options of people that can take care of this appointment. So coming back over here, in the event that this particular part was not in stock at all and no one's truck had it, one of the things the Acumatica allows the service dispatcher to do is easily mark this item for order and track and follow to the point where the item is delivered. So we're going to click this box, going to hit save. Either the service dispatcher themselves can create the order or someone in the warehouse can do. We're going to go to create purchase order. You can see here we've requested to order this item right here. So let's go ahead and click it. Let's make sure there is a vendor assigned. Choose the go-to vendor. We're going to hit process all. And this is going to create a purchase order for that item. We'll let that process finish. So the purchase order has been completed. We can remove this from hold. Can approve it. So now that this has been created, let's go ahead and show another thing Acumatica can do is it can create actionable dashboards for your service dispatchers to be able to keep track of parts that are on order, when they've arrived, when they can be scheduled, so that you're not scheduling appointments too early and having to shuffle around your schedule. So let's go to the service dispatch dashboard. And you can see here the service order that I just created for USA Bartending School has this part on order. And so right now, the part is over here, but at the point that your receiving and shipping dock receives the part in, it will automatically move this over to the service orders ready to schedule thing, set schedule section. So that allows that service dispatcher to be more effective because they can be watching lists and dashboards to know when a part is in and when they can schedule. So let's go ahead and go back to the service order we created. And actually, I should show you from here. You can actually get to one of the things that makes these great is that you can drill into them from here. So we can actually go to the service order from the dashboard. And we're going to go ahead and schedule. We're going to go ahead and actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and make one modification here. Let's go ahead and receive the part. So on the detail line here, you're going to be able to see that the purchase order is right here. We're going to go ahead and enter the receipt for the purchase order. That way we can schedule this. We'll enter the PO receipt. We'll let it run the process. Go ahead and release. I do not want to create the bill right now. Let me uncheck that. The good thing about Acumatica is when there is an error, it quickly highlights for you there in red what the error was, so you can move on quickly. We'll go ahead and release this. All right, so since we went ahead and received it, let's go back to the service dispatch dashboard and now see that it's moved. Let's now move that service order over here in the ready to schedule queue. So we'll go ahead and reopen the schedule, or the service order, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to schedule from the calendar board. So we'll give it 1 second here while the calendar loads up. So the calendar itself gives you more options and more ability to also filter in. So you can see here right now, the calendar is showing both Maxwell Baker and Michael Andrews' schedule. Give this demo environment a second to load here. So if I come in here and I hit a filter and I say only show me access control, that will reduce this down. And then I also need to come in here and say I need someone with this kind of license. So now that I do that, you're going to see Michael Andrews is going to drop off. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drag and drop this onto the calendar. And one thing to note is it's using that estimated duration we talked about earlier. So it's only going to create a 1 hour appointment. So there's the 1 hour appointment that's been created. And we're going to log in a second here and take a look at that over on the mobile application. Another thing Acumatica allows a service dispatcher to do is get visibility into where people are at any time. So there's an appointment history on map feature that allows you to find out where people currently are. I don't believe I currently have that configured, but if I did, let me see. Oh, no, I do. So I just ping this, and it has found my location and knows where I am. I think my device would need to be a little bit more configured to drill in exactly where I am, but just a quick look into another thing Acumatica does for dispatchers is lets them visibly see where people are at any given time. That allows for more efficient scheduling, allows you to put more time on the calendar, make sure you get jobs done right the first time, and can aid in this process. So let's go ahead and navigate to the appointment we just created. And we're going to go ahead now and pick up the mobile app. And I'm going to be logging in as Michael Andrews on the mobile app. And as you can see here, I can use all the features of my mobile phone. I can use the Face ID. One of the things we did at the start is we embedded an instruction in that appointment for the technician. And if maybe a technician has 4 or 5 appointments during a day, that might not be the most efficient way to handle the process. So we're going to go down. What we can do is we can create basically a list of today's instructions so that in the morning the technician can go to the mobile app. Let's go back a second. You can see down here in the bottom today's instructions, and they can see a customized list of instructions just for them for that day. So in the morning they make sure they grab everything they need. They don't have to wait until they drill into that particular appointment to make sure that when they leave for the day they have. And you can have as many instructions as you need on appointments so that the technician in the morning make sure they have the parts, make sure they have the the tools they need to get the job done right the first time. So we're going to go to the appointment list, and we're going to find the appointment we just made right here. One thing I want to note is that in this event, we went ahead and ordered the part for the technician. In the event that they didn't know the part was going to be needed, there is the capability for the technician on the site to be able to come and create a purchase order on the fly. They can do the mark for PO box themselves, and that would even allow them with the correct approval process to go pick up the part, maybe if it's nearby, and come back and get that appointment done the first trip, not have to go back to the office and delay that completion of that for your customers. So you do have the ability as a technician to order remotely. There's other critical information that can be found in here beyond instructions. You do have the ability to see customer contacts and things like that. So if there was an individual on site that you needed to reach out to make sure you can find them and get the job done, that information can be stored on the appointment itself. You can see, oops, I exited the appointment. Let's see here. Just like we showed you that inquiry for today's instructions, there's also the ability to have the technician look up customer history themselves when they're out there and see what has been done in the past, review any notes. That's a critical thing. And one of the great things about Acumatica is that any changes that are made in the mobile app are happening in real time back for the dispatcher to see. That's facilitating that collaboration. So we'll go ahead and we'll start this appointment. So the appointment has been started. We're going to refresh the screen over here on the left, and you're going to see that the status of this appointment has instantly changed to in process. On the calendar board, that can also change the color, so you can get good visualization into what's going on. If the technician needs to take a picture of what they're seeing out in the field and communicate that back in, that can be done. So we're going to go ahead and go to Files. We're going to add a file. We're going to take a photo. This is my mouse pad here. Hit Done. Load it up. We'll go ahead and refresh the screen again, and you should see over here on the left that little picture has instantly uploaded, and I, as a person back in the office, I can see that picture that was taken. So that is the speed at which this is happening in the cloud. The changes happening in the app are not waiting for some process to push back. They're just real-time communication and collaboration that is needed between a service dispatcher and a technician to get the job done. One of the things you can do in Acumatica is you can trigger notifications. In this particular environment, let's take a look if it's there. Yeah, I've got an attribute set up here where if a technician flagged this, it could trigger back in the office an immediate email that said this appointment has some follow-up information that is needed on it. So in those events that you can't fix something the first time or you have to go out a second time, there's a way to quickly get that collaboration going back with the office, not waiting for a phone call or a note or someone at the end of the day trying to remember to take care of that issue. And you can go ahead and the technician can go ahead and complete the appointment. And when that's done, we're going to go ahead and refresh the screen. And you'll see that appointment is now completed. So again, what you've seen in this demonstration today is that Acumatica, we're hitting all the points we needed to hit on. We're talking about how do we make sure we get the right person out to the job site? How do we make sure that they have the correct tools, the correct inventory? How do we make sure that there's that real-time collaboration? One of the things I haven't shown here is that if I was to go cancel one of these appointments, we also could trigger an email immediately to the technician out in the field that the appointment's been canceled. So again, Acumatica really empowers both that service dispatcher to have that real-time communication with the technician and make sure that everything is in order so that your company can improve the first-time fix rate. All right. So we just saw, a brief demonstration, just some of the capabilities of Acumatica, but I want to share with you a list of other reasons why companies would choose Acumatica to help manage their field service business. And you talk about scheduling, contract management, map integrations, the mobile app. You have the ability to track maintenance on equipment. You can deal with inventories and warranties. You also have a robust system for dashboarding and business intelligence to get the information you need. Acumatica takes a team-based approach to sales and service. You have that ability to have that quoting wrapped right up, CRM right up into service. You also have the ability to track projects and cost. You can associate projects with these work orders. So you can really see how Acumatica excels in solving your problems. But don't just take it from me. Now we're going to hear from some of Acumatica's customers. First off, we're going to be looking at M3 Technology Group. M3 Technology Group designs, builds, and installs turnkey audiovisual systems for corporate, higher education, military, and many other vertical markets. One of the items we discussed during that presentation was automated notifications. Now, automations are great as long as they work. And a lot of times, you might have all this automation set up, but maybe it's spotty. So, Kelly Burns, who works at M3 Technology, he noted in the past with some of his legacy systems that these notification systems were spotty and unreliable. But here's what he had to say about Acumatica. He said, with Acumatica, we don't have to worry. It's rock solid. The system just works, so we don't have to wonder if it's performing correctly. So you can really see how Acumatica helps solve M3's real-time communication problems in terms of notifications. Now that we've heard from a provider of audio-video equipment, let's take a look at one of Lucid's long-term clients and how we helped implement Acumatica to solve their first-time fixed-rate problems. So here's a quote from Cody Sharp from Security Solutions. Now, Security Solutions has been working with both Lucid and Acumatica since 2016. So you can see here that Acumatica really helped Cody and Security Solutions solve their inventory challenges, directions in the mobile app, contact information, all those things that help them their customers become more satisfied. And here's some other key things that Lucid was able to help deliver with Acumatica for Security Solutions. One is they were able to connect business systems, streaming operations and saving times. They were able to help them gain CRM and opportunity tracking management. They improved inventory management, eliminating sometimes $10,000 or $15,000 write-offs. They improved visibility into financial data with real-time access to financial information, provided remote access to work orders for techs in the field, reduced time to invoice with real-time and automatic time card entry. That really sped up cash flow, improved recurring revenue and contract management, improved customer service with an internal case management system that allowed customer requests to not get lost and to get taken care of quicker. They also eliminated manual and duplicate entry, which again, saved time, saved money, helped with employee morale, all those things you're looking for. And really at this point, Security Solutions really, they exemplify, Lucid's desire to have a long-term relationship with their clients. And you can see that we help them improve dispatch, increase visibility into inventory, and move to a real-time communication platform. So now let's talk a little bit about Lucid. At Lucid, we're built on the strengths of our relationships. Our clients and our team are the most important thing. And we don't just implement solutions and systems for your business, but we teach you how to use them and how to be successful with them for years to come. We listen to the unique requirements of your business, and we have a proven implementation method and provide stellar post-implementation support. We're in it for the long haul with you, and our team works to put you and your company first. And I want to wrap up today's presentation by just saying that ERP systems are only as good as your ability to leverage the tools offered. And if you're looking for a partner to come alongside you and be part of your journey in growing your business, please contact us today. We would love to start a conversation with you. I really appreciate your time today. You can reach us on the info email attached above, info@lucidconsulting.com. You can call our office at 360-306-5258, or you can visit our website at lucidconsulting.com to get more information. Thank you again for your time today.